talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up, hey. 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 Way down in the back.
We live.
We are live, folks. It's the last show before opening game for the LSU football fighting Tigers. I could not be more excited, Zach. I don't know if I've been more excited for a season since 2015.
Wow.
I have not been more excited for a season since 2015. Obviously, 2019 was amazing, but 2018 we were a solid team, and so you maybe didn't have the expectations of going 15-0 and greatest team of all time.
Yeah,
right. Like, this is the most excited I've been for a season since probably 2015. I will say I was pretty excited in 2020, but then those hopes were
that died real fast.
That died. I mean, game one, it died.
Yeah. You're like, oh, this is not 2019.
I mean, you got toasted by a guy named KJ Costello, who was literally broke the single game passing record for the SEC against you.
After that.
And it was like benched like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah,
oh, golly. Anyways, but I don't know if I've been this excited about a season since probably 2015.
Yeah, it is definitely exciting. I think I have to agree with you. I don't think there's been another season. I can't really remember what I was thinking heading into the 2019 season. I'm sure there was.
I was excited. I mean, based on what 2018, I was excited.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I was like championship level excited.
Yeah, I think this might be. I don't know. 2011, before the 2011 season, I was pretty excited too because I knew we had a great team. I remember in that Oregon game, heading into that Oregon game, I was just so pumped because that was a big matchup. But like, I think this year is probably the highest level of like excitement that I've had in all my years of watching LSU college football.
Yeah.
And I think we have to thank 2019 for that.
Right. Like here's the reason. Like this probably applies to all LSU fans, is because that Alabama monkey was still on your back before 2019. You had gone. The TJ yelled. You went. 2011 dreams crushed by Alabama in the national championship. 2012 dreams crushed by the screen pass to TJ Yeldon, and then you chased that.
2013,
monkey.
You got Zach Mettenberger crawling on the ground like a snake.
For the next 7-8 years, it was just something you could never get over. And 2015 comes along, and your dreams are absolutely destroyed by the Alabama front seven. The Heisman hopes of Leonard Fournette is destroyed.
2016, you had a really close game, but there was something that happened in that game because it was like 10-0 was the final.
Something like
in
that
game, I think, in 2016.
And then 2018, you get Joe Burrow in to transfer, and you're like, this is a really solid team, and then the Bama game was really, really hyped up, and you lose 29-0 in Tiger Stadium. And so going into 2019, I don't think it was this much exciting because that monkey was always on your back. Alabama was always right there. It didn't matter how good you were. They were still there to tear you down. And thank God for Joe Burrow in 2019. That season broke that streak. We beat them last year, and it feels like those games have been better since. Let's be real. 2020 wasn't the best, but 2021, you darn near beat them in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. You dang near beat them in 2021. If you had a decent offensive coordinator, you probably win that game, and you're really bad that year.
Yeah.
Like, you were a really bad team. So that, I think that looming over the 2019 season, Alabama still being there. They got Tua Tagovailoa. They were a very talented team. What people don't want to talk about, Zach, is that the 2019 Alabama team was more talented than the 2020 Alabama team. Nobody wants to talk about that, though, because LSU obviously kind of became the greatest team of all time in college football history.
Yep.
But nobody talks about how 2019 Alabama was more talented than 2020 Alabama. Anyways, but because of that Alabama, curse, it felt like not as excited going into 2019. Now that has been off of you, and we beat them last year. You return a ton of talent. You go to the portal. You get some good guys to fill in some positions of need, give you some depth. This may be the most, Zach, I mean, this is definitely, I think, the most production return since 2019.
Yeah.
Like from 2018 to 2019. Yep. This is probably the best production returning since that, off season. From 2018 to 2019, you returned a ton of production, and it feels the same way this year. And you just got to think, like, I'm not saying this year's going to be 2019 by no means. I don't expect that at all. I don't think that'll ever be repeated. But it's very similar, Zach. It's a lot. There's a lot of similarities. You go and get a transfer portal quarterback. He comes in. He's a solid quarterback. What did Joe Burrow have, like 17 touchdowns or 18 touchdowns in 2018 and
something like that?
3 interceptions.
Really, like that,
really
running.
Right. He gets in. He kind of dips his toe in the water and gets used to this system. Has a whole offseason with the receivers that LSU always has. Guys who can run fast, jump high, and catch the football. They always have those guys. And he spends an entire offseason with guys like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
And you return the offensive line is a strength. Your defense returns a ton of production. And then, boom, 2019 happens.
Yep.
I don't think you're as talented as 2019. But last year, you got Jaden Daniels comes in. Pretty solid quarterback, probably not entirely used to the system. Getting chemistry is tough because literally he's there, a month before the season started. And so now he's spent an entire offseason with guys like Malik Neighbors, guys like Kyron Lacey, BTJ, Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson. He's gotten more used to this system. You have continuity in the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach, the head coach. And you return a lot of talent on the defense side of the ball. The only major flaw, I think, that we've been discussing and concern is the secondary. Now, your safeties are really good. Who your DB is going to be? I don't think it really matters that much.
May not.
I don't think it's that important as people are trying to make it out to be. It is important, but like you look at some of the numbers of the like last year's Zach. Georgia was 54th in passing efficiency and defense, and they won a national championship. LSU was better in passing efficiency last year than Georgia was.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much it matters all that much because in modern day football, Zach, what matters is offense and scoring a lot of points.
Yep.
If you can do that, you can beat just about anybody.
Outscore your opponent.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting into. I'm really excited, so I really want to discuss these things. So I'm kind of getting ahead of myself.
Yeah,
Zach.
we got to talk quarterbacks first.
Let's talk quarterbacks. I'll let you. Zach's going to have to hop off for just a couple minutes here in a little bit, but he'll be back. He's not leaving the show for the rest of the show. He's got to take care of something, and he'll be back for the majority of the show. So Zach, I'll let you lead it off on your preview of the quarterbacks. What are your thoughts going into this year?
I mean, really excited because you have a guy that is returning that has had a ton of experience. I mean, not just talking last year at LSU, but also discussing, all of his 3 years at Arizona State.
Yeah.
So he's in his 5th year playing quarterback. he doesn't have to worry about
Power
school as
5.
much. He's graduated. He doesn't have to worry about school. He's focused on football and football only. Learned the Mike Denbrock system last year, as you said, got a full bathing of what that offensive playbook looks like, what it is, how to run it, everything. And so now it's just perfecting it, right, this offseason. And that's what they've done, is worked on it. Obviously, the biggest thing this year is going to be, can he progress? Can he stretch the ball downfield more than he did last year? That's going to be the biggest question. We know that he can do a ton of damage with his feet. We know that he is an adequate quarterback at passing the football in the short to mid range game, passing game. So can we stretch the field, right? A lot of people, whenever he got hurt in the Georgia game and Garrett Nussmeier came in, Garrett Nussmeier started slinging it, and you saw what these receivers could do when you stretch the field. They could get open against the opposing DBs.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a matter of, will JD be able to pull the trigger this year? That's going to be a massive, massive storyline, I think, in this Florida State game and in the entire rest of the season. So we'll see. I think, you obviously have mad confidence in what he can do this season for LSU. I mean, you have to have him. You had to have him last year. If you don't have Jaden Daniels last year, you don't go. You don't win 10 games. It's just, that's just a fact.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
And the same is true this year. You have to have him. Now, with that said, I am really confident in what Garrett can do. Knock on wood, Jaden gets hurt, something happens. We don't want anything to happen, but something happens. Jaden goes down. He's hurt. You're fully confident in bringing in Garrett Nussmeier and running the offense, right? There is a confidence there. You want to see, obviously, the turnovers. Hopefully they've worked on that as well, because that still was a little bit of an issue last year.
Right.
Seemed like near the end of last year, though, when he had his opportunities and came into ball games, that wasn't as much of an issue near the end of the year. I'm thinking about the Georgia game, and I'm thinking about the Purdue game when he had his chances near at the end of the year. Seemed like he had kind of figured out a little bit more of how to not be have that gunslinger mentality when it was not needed, right? and not make the mistakes that he had in the past.
Sure.
We'll see this year, because I think he's going to get opportunities. He's definitely going to get opportunities. And I mean, if you think about it, if Jaden goes down, let's just say he doesn't get hurt, like it's like he's going to be out for X amount of time, but like he's kind of like, banged up a little bit, and he has to come out for like a couple plays or a series because he got banged up and they're working on him on the sideline or something like that.
Right.
Like, you put Garrett Nussmeier in and you're like, we can sling that thing, right? Like we can run the offense completely how it needs to be ran. It's not, hey,
if Garrett's out there, put Chris Hilton on the field. That's what
it's not like, hey, let's put him out. Let's put the backup quarterback out there and let's hand it off. And let's throw some little screens, or whatever, or some little slant route. Like, you can run the offense completely. If anything happens to JD, again, Lord forbid that to happen, but anything happens, you're completely confident in what Garrett can do. And then, obviously Reed Collins, I'm not going to talk a whole lot, but he's going to be able to develop a little bit. He's going to get the opportunity to sit underneath both of those guys and learn and grow as a quarterback, as a young quarterback that in a couple of years could be great for LSU.
Hopefully
he
can take a red shirt this year.
Yeah, and
that would be nice.
He takes a red shirt so he gets another year. We'll see. I think the biggest thing for me is, man, just stay injury free with Jaden and Garrett. You don't want either one of those guys to get hurt, because then you're actually looking at Ricky going, okay, he's our next guy up.
Right.
If one guy goes down and another one goes down, it's Ricky Collins. And so, man, stay healthy. That's the biggest thing for me with these quarterbacks. The other thing I want to discuss, Reagan, is, what are we looking at yardage wise? And we talked about this last year. I do believe that Jaden will be close to 4,000 yards. I do believe that passing. I think that he is going to be in the neighborhood of 3,200 to 3,500 passing yards this year. I do believe that. Maybe more. Maybe 3,800. He could get close to 4,000 yards passing this year. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. And we discussed that a little bit last week. Now, the question, though, is how much will he do with his feet? Last year, he was LSU's leading rusher. And he had to do it. We had to have him. This year, I don't think you have to have him as much with the ground game. I think this year you can rely more so on that whole stable of backs to do what you need to do in the running game. And it can kind of just be, when Jay needs to scramble, when he needs to get out of a situation, right? When the pocket collapses, he's going to have that versatility and he can do that. So I don't think the rushing attempts nor yards are going to be as much as they were last year. I think they're going to be less than they were this past year. But Reagan, if he is a 3,800 yard passer and he's 500 or more yards rushing, you're sitting in New York at near the end of the year.
Yeah.
So Jaden has the potential to have a massive, massive year. He has the potential to make a ton of money as well.
No doubt.
It's going to be very interesting to see the development that has taken place in the offseason with him in his vertical passing game. And if it pays off and we are able to see a vertical passing game from him that is effective, I mean, we're talking like you're going to talk numbers that are going to be second best to Joe Burrow only.
No doubt.
And I fully believe that. I fully believe that. Like, he could be the second best the second best passing season in LSU history next to Joe Burrow this year. I very much think that's achievable.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I believe he is going to. If you want my opinion, I'll kind of give you my breakdown, and then I'll kind of give you my takes because I want to say a few things. First and foremost, I am elated to have Jaden Daniels back. I'm glad he came back, and it is set up for a very exciting season. I am thrilled, number two, Zach, that Garrett Nussmeier decided to come back. That speaks volumes. Garrett Nussmeier deciding to come back speaks volumes to what Brian Kelly has done in this program. It speaks volume to how this program is being built, the feeling around the program, the loyalty to Brian Kelly. And I am super excited. I know this is kind of looking ahead, but I am super excited to see this torch passed on to Garrett Nussmeier because we didn't get that. We wanted that with Joe Burrow and Miles Brennan, and we didn't really get that. I mean, you did, but we know how the whole Miles Brennan situation played out. I mean, it just is what it is. But I think Garrett Nussmeier and Jane Daniels, this thing is going to grow into this quarterback situation with LSU because of Joe Burrow. And now Jaden Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier, and seeing Garrett say, hey, no, I'm not going to hit the portal. I'm going to stay, is growing into some really great success for LSU in the future at quarterback. That's kind of my thoughts on where we are in the quarterback room right now. And I hope that Ricky Collins can take a red shirt. That's my hope for this year. Got to stay healthy to do that, obviously, but I want Ricky Collins to take a red shirt this year. He needs some to grow, and maybe you can get him in 4 games and get him some live snaps, maybe in some of the games that are blowouts, and keep a year of eligibility for him. I'm really excited to see Garrett in times, in dead time as well, seeing him continue to get reps. But all of that leads to this point. I think that Jaden Daniels is going to have the second, and Zach kind of already alluded to this, but I am going to claim that Jaden Daniels is going to have the second best quarterback season in LSU history. It's my hot take for this season. I don't know if it's much of a hot take, but it's my take for this season. I think Jaden Daniels eclipses 4,000. I think he's going to throw for, if I had to give you a range, I think it's going to be 3,800 to 4,000. I think he very well could go over 4,000 yards. I think he becomes the second single season passing leader in LSU single season history. I think he throws 25 touchdowns. I think he has about 400 to 500 rushing yards. Tack on about 5 more touchdowns. And I think that Jaden Daniels is going to be sitting in New York come Heisman Trophy time. I'm not going to – I will not say that he will win the Heisman. I won't claim that. But my hot take is that he will have the second greatest quarterback single season for an LSU Tiger since Joe Burrow. So I just – from everything we have seen, that is my take for Jaden Daniels. And I genuinely believe he's going to be sitting in New York come Heisman time. So I am super excited to see this. I think he is going to air it out. I mean, last year, I think it is simply a product of him not being quite used to the system, him not having quite enough time and chemistry to work with these receivers. Therefore, he was timid at times to let the ball loose. And that led to him, welcome back, Zach, by the way. He ran for over 800 yards last year and 11 touchdowns. But I do believe I think he is within 3,800 to 4,100 yards passing. I think he's 400 to 500 yards rushing. I think he throws 25 touchdowns, and I think he rushes for another 5. That gives him 30 touchdowns on the year. I think he could go more, and I think he could be on the high end of both of those stats in terms of the yards. And I do think he is sitting in New York come Heisman time. You're muted, Zach. That Zach. I was just telling them. Can
you hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah, I was telling them it's my hot take for the season, but I don't know if it's really a hot take. But I think
he'll be in New York.
I think he'll be in New York, and I also think he can easily eclipse 4,000 yards passing this year.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. I would love for that to happen. We're just gonna have to wait and see. And he's gonna have some big time games that he's gonna have opportunities to step up and really put himself in the forefront of the Heisman race for sure.
And I mean, he's already the second favorite. So
yeah,
if he puts up those kind of numbers this year, and let's say Caleb Williams does about the same as he does last year, I think Jaden wins it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you win the West again, then go compete in the SEC championship, and maybe you get like a New Year's Six bowl. Let's say you lose to Georgia in the SEC championship and compete in the SEC or a New Year's Six bowl. I think he could win it then. If you go to the SEC championship and you win it, I think Jaden Daniels is the Heisman. If he's putting up those kind of numbers, I think he's the Heisman.
I have to agree with you 100%. Let's look at all these comments we got.
Yeah, there's a comment flowing in here.
It's been coming in here. Ryan's back with us. Appreciate Ryan being back in here with us. He said, "I'll take another 10 wins, but I'll definitely take another year 2 natty. Hashtag
Absolutely.
year 2 natty."
Absolutely.
RP's in here. I predict JD going to be first team All-American this year, and I think he's going to have a huge year. Ryan back in here said, "I expect him to have around 3,500 yards passing with over 30 touchdowns, 400 yards rushing." So he's kind of right in there with you as well. RP said he's going to have at least 800 yards rushing. He was close to 1,000 last year. Tyler Townsend's also in here. He says, "What's up?"
He had like 880 last year rushing and 11
John
touchdowns.
Rooney, go Tigers. Yeah, I mean, he had a great year last year. Expect someone of the same. I don't think he's going to have the production that he had last year, just simply because of all the running backs that you have this year.
Yeah, correct. I don't think you want that kind of production like last year. I mean, I think that's kind of the point. Is like we want him to air it out, and I think everybody wants that. And I think Brian Kelly, has explicitly addressed that. So.
Oh, Danny Girl says, "Hey everybody, watching live from her Orlando hotel."
Shout out, Danny Girl,
baby. That's awesome. So she's at the game. She's going to the game. I'm jealous too, but I'm also kind of not jealous because last year we went to the game in New Orleans.
Yeah,
and we had to see that ending. So
it was brutal.
It was brutal. And so I don't want LSU to lose. But I don't know if I could go through that again. That was brutal. RP said he thinks Collins will play at least 3 games this season. That's not bad. RP says if we make the semifinals, he's going to win the Heisman.
Well, if you're winning the SEC, you're in the semifinals. So essentially, yes.
Yes. Ryan said, unless the wide receivers are taking it to the house, then I don't see 4,000 passing yards. The rush to pass ratio will probably be around 60-40. Okay,
I hope it's not 60-40. I feel like it was 60-40 last year.
I don't know. Well, I'd have to go back and look at that. But anyways.
And I hope they are taking it to the house.
Reagan, let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, we will get into the actual game this weekend, LSU versus Florida State, preview that. Along with that, we'll kind of give some season predictions, stuff like that. So not just an LSU Florida State preview, but also kind of some season predictions and stuff like that. And of course, we'll discuss our newly named segment, TA Tools for Triumph. Used to be TA Tools for Success. I forget who. Do you remember who told us that, Reagan? I can't remember. Whoever it was, I want to give them a huge shout out and a huge thank you. If you're watching, please remind us that it was your idea. Because TA Tools for Triumph is phenomenal. Love it. So no longer TA Tools for Success this year, and from here on out, it'll be TA Tools for Triumph. Let's take a quick break, and then when we're back, we'll be back to discuss all of those things.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
I got something, Reagan. I got some buddies with me tonight. Hey, Asher and Eli, why don't y'all come in here?
Oh, babysitting.
So Zach's on babysitting duty tonight. This is Asher and Eli.
What up, dog?
Eli. This is Asher. Eli and Asher, say hey. Hey. Eli and Asher, what team do we cheer for on Friday or LSU. Saturday? Huh?
LSU.
Yes, sir.
I knew you were going to say that.
They are adopted. They have been adopted into the family of LSU Tigers because whenever we were living in Texas, we obviously met them. But at that time, Eli and Asher
met their parents.
We met their parents. Eli and Asher didn't exist back then in 2011. But now they are LSU fans with us because we indoctrinated Justin and Holly into our LSU fandom.
We brainwashed them.
So now we cheer with the whole family. So thanks, guys. So we're going to be hanging out tonight, eating some pizza, playing some video games, just doing what guys do, right? So anyway, that's what we're doing. I told them, I said, I got to finish the show, but y'all can hang out. So I think they're hanging out playing games or something on their phone right now. So
cool. Hopefully they'll watch the LSU game too.
Apparently that's what we're doing afterwards. All right, guys. Thank you.
Sweet.
I can go back.
Sweet.
I had to bring them on. So
little babysitting duty.
Yeah. So for those of y'all that don't know, Asher and Eli, they belong to Justin Burdick, and Justin was me and Reagan's youth pastor. back in the day. So I offered Justin to watch the boys and hang out with them so that they could get a chance to go and have a date night, whatever. So me and the boys were hanging out tonight. It'll be fun.
Yeah. All right, Zach. So LSU, Florida State. We need to give a little bit of a preview on this game. Well, I'll let you go first, so I'll let you go first again. Zach, what are your initial thoughts for this game? What are some key matchups? What do you kind of expect? Are we giving predictions for this game in this segment?
Oh yeah,
we're going to give the final score prediction or whatever.
Let's do it at the end. Let's do it at the end.
At the very end.
Let's do it at the very end when we do our TA tools for Triumph. So we'll kind of lead into that. Sound good?
Cool. Go ahead.
For me, Reagan, I think the biggest storyline of this game, and we talked about this last week or on Monday. It has to be the passing attack versus the secondaries on both sides of the ball. We just discussed how important it's going to be for Jaden to get vertical. I don't think it's as important with LSU as it is with Florida State. I think with Florida State, they're gonna have a really hard time running the football. So they're gonna have to pass the football. They're gonna have to get plus yardage. They're gonna have to get vertical, and so I think it's more so for them. I'm pretty confident in LSU's offense to move the ball. Now, can they do that with a vertical passing game? I think we're going to find that out. So for me, on both sides of the ball, for both teams, it's going to be, I think, what team exposes the other team's secondary more. And I'm really, really hoping that LSU can be on the better end of that. Because obviously the biggest concern for LSU has been the secondary. We're going to find out what this secondary is made of on Sunday night. And as I mentioned on the last show, the biggest thing for me to affect that part of the storyline is you have to get an effective pass rush. And I'm not going to say Harold Perkins because I believe Harold Perkins is going to obviously do what he does, and he's going to play a major role in this game. He's going to wreak havoc. I'm going to say that one of the key players for this game, one of the most important players for this game is going to be Savion Jones. Savion Jones is going to have opportunities because Florida State is going to have to account for Harold Perkins. I think there's going to be times where he's going to be double teamed. Yeah. And I think there's going to be times where he's going to be shut down because they are specifically accounting for him. That's going to free up guys like Mekhi Wingo or on the defensive end, Savion Jones. I think Savion Jones has to have a big game here because I think even though I fully believe that Harold Perkins is going to play and make an impact in this game and is going to do his thing, I fully believe there has to be another person on this defensive front that is getting pressure to the quarterback. So if Harold Perkins flushes them, there needs to be somebody on the other side, right? That's closing in and collapsing that pocket. That pocket. So I think you have to look at the players that are not the key players that we know are going to be like phenomenal. Like we know what Jaden's going to do. We know what Harold Perkins is going to do. We know what Mason Taylor is going to do. We know what Malik Neighbors is going to do. So I gave you one on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, I gave you one on the defensive side of the ball. I'm struggled between two key players on the offensive side of the ball that I want to choose for the offense, but because I'm trying to shoot, if I just chose one, I think both need to play a major impact. But I'll do this. I'll choose one of them for special teams, and I think you know where I'm going with this now.
Okay.
So on the offensive side of the ball, Savion Jones needs to be a key factor on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, somebody that isn't the usual suspects, Kyron Lacey. I think Kyron Lacey needs to also have a big game. They are going to hone in on Malik Neighbors, in the same way that they are going to scheme and account for Harold Perkins, they're going to scheme and account for Malik Neighbors on the other side of the ball. So that's, again, going to free up other guys and give them opportunities. I think Kyron Lacy needs to have a massive game. I'm not saying like he goes out there and he has 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, I'm talking like, he has like 70 yards receiving and maybe 1 touchdown, right? Yeah. Or a big play that gives LSU an opportunity to have a scoring drive, something like that. Kyron Lacy, I think, needs to play a major role in this game out as not of one of the main candidates, if I'm making sense with that.
Yeah.
On special teams, Aaron Anderson.
Yep.
We were miserable last year watching this game and everything that went on with the special teams, with the 2 muff punts, with the blocked extra point, with the terrible coverage, with the penalties on special teams. I mean, there's just so many different things that went on in this game that just didn't go well for special teams.
Right.
This year, we need to see some positive things go on for special teams in this game. And I am looking at Aaron Anderson to do that. I'm not saying he has to take one back, although that would be awesome. I'm saying flip the field, man. Get us in positive territory. Get us into opponent's territory, on a kickoff or on a punt return. He can flip the field and immediately put us in the opponent's territory. So I would like to see that. So that's kind of 3 players that, outside of the usual suspects, that I think need to have impacts on this game. Maybe not major impacts, but impacts enough where it affects the game in a major way, right? Maybe it's Malik Neighbors that scores a touchdown, but maybe it's Kyron Lacy that made the big play to get us down there, right?
Sure.
Maybe Harold Perkins changes the scheme for the Florida State offense into where they're having to account for him so much that they're worrying so much about him that it ends up being Savion Jones that makes a play, right? Just things like that. I mean, and then Aaron Anderson is going to have plenty of opportunities in the special teams to be able to make a play as well. So those are kind of like small storylines that I'm looking for. Is like, who are some guys that are going to step up and make some plays? Maybe they don't have the massive stat line at the end of the game that wow you, but who are some guys that are going to step up and make some plays that get LSU in great positions to win this football game? And I think that's going to be something we will discuss, win or lose, on Monday.
So I like your thought process here. Here's something I want to say about this game, Zach, that I kind of alluded to already. I don't think it's that important that your secondary be DBU.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think
DBU. Just be serviceable.
If you are a good defensive back, I think that is good enough to work in today's college football. So to me, Zach, this game is decided on LSU's. In terms of LSU, obviously, it's decided with Jaden Daniels and the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Can they outscore Florida State?
Well, obviously, you want to outscore them. But I mean, like, execution. Like, are we doing what we could not do last year offensively? Are we making the throws we didn't throw last year offensively? And so, for me, the key to this game is scoring a lot of points. And I think our offense is poised to have that kind of season where it's just like we score enough points, and if our defense is solid, it's going to be enough.
Yeah.
And to me, the only weak spot on our defense is our wide DBs. I think our safeties are great. I mean, you're talking about Major Burns, Greg Brooks,
I think
Andre Sam.
There will be help for the corner.
Correct. Like, your safeties are going to help out. Your nickel is going to help out. Like, the coverage, I don't think is going to be atrocious. Like, is there going to be maybe some blown plays? Probably so. It's going to happen. Blown plays happen when Patrick Peterson and Mo Claiborne were were out there patrolling. Didn't happen as much as it probably will happen, but it happens. Is there going to be some yardage given up? Yes. But I think our offense is to a point this season where it is going to score points to where certain teams can't keep up with us. Also, when you have guys on the other side of the ball like Harold freaking Perkins, and also let's not forget Omar Spites or Spates, whatever it is, and then that defensive front, and then the safeties. Like, I really think LSU's defense is going to be solid. Like, I think there's going to be a weakness within it, but I think we're going to have a really solid defense, guys. I think it's going to be better than last year. I think our defense overall will be better than last year. And if it's better than last year and your offense is scoring more points than it did last year, you're going to win a lot of games. So for me, the key to this game is Jaden Daniels and this offense executing the way Mike Denbrock wants them to. Doing the things that we were not able to do last year. That's number one. Number two, Zach, I got to agree with you. Special teams literally lost us this game last year. I mean, it lost us the game last year. If you take away 2 muff punts and that missed PAT, LSU probably wins the game last year, Zach.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. And also, your offense, I mean, Zach, we lost 23-24. This offense ain't putting up 23 points this year.
No.
We're putting up more than 23 points this year.
I wholeheartedly agree.
So with that, and I think the special teams, Zach, I think the special teams is going to be one of the strengths of this team. We have been hearing how great Ramos has been kicking field goals.
That's very true.
Do you think that Brian Kelly is going to have the protection problems or the protection issues addressed on field goal coverage
100%.
that we saw fail last year against Florida State and cost us the game? Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. He's going to kick field goals. He's going to make a bunch of field goals. We've been hearing he's fantastic. Jay Bramlett is going to do what Jay Bramlett did last year, be phenomenal at punting. And now you have this guy named Aaron Anderson, who, in the words of Brian Kelly, who's probably one of the most experienced college football coaches in the entire country, said with his own mouth that he is one of the most natural punt returners he has ever seen. I think that special teams can be a strength to this team. Even if it's not like they're not scoring, like let's say Aaron Anderson doesn't return a kick for, a touchdown, which is likely not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the mistakes last year, more importantly, I don't think the mistakes that happened last year are going to happen this year. It doesn't have to be, Aaron Anderson taking a punt back. It doesn't have to be him taking a kickoff back. It doesn't have to be Ramos drilling a 60-yard field goal. It doesn't have to be something crazy. Just make the mistakes from last year not happen. Do what you're supposed to do, and LSU probably wins that game last year. This year, you're better. You're better offensively. You're going to be better in this game defensively than last year. There's no question about that because Harold Perkins wasn't playing last year in this game.
Yeah.
And you also have a guy named Omar, who I think is better than any linebacker than we had last year, other than Harold Perkins. All respect to Michael Baskerville and Mike Jones, but Omar's just better. I think that Zy Alexander, Deuce Chestnut, Sage Ryan, I think all of them can be just as solid as Mekhi Garner and Jarek Bernard Converse were last year. Now, Jarek was great.
Yeah.
Jarek was great. And we may not have a guy like Jarek, but I think overall they can do just as good as a job as they did last year. And I think the defense around them, the defensive line, the linebackers, and the safeties are better.
Yeah.
And your safety room is very veteran, Zach. It's very veteran in Major Burns, Greg Brooks, and Andre Sam. So to me, this game is going to look completely different from last year. Completely different.
I agree.
But they look different too. They've gone to the portal. They've added Keon Coleman. Johnny Wilson is returning. Jordan Travis is returning. They add Braden Fisk on the defensive line, who LSU wanted really badly.
Yes.
They added Fentrell Cypress, who every team in the country wanted last year in the portal at
he'll
DB.
be he'll be one of the corners out there.
He will be one of their corners. But to me, I just don't think Florida State stacks up with what LSU presents. And I think, considering last year, you're talking about Jordan Travis being last year a like fifth-year starter, and he's like a sixth-year starter this year. LSU having Jaden Daniels for a month. Harold Perkins isn't on the field. We played like absolute crap, and we still only lost by 1 point.
1 point, yeah.
This year, there's chemistry, there's continuity, there's understanding, there's more talent on the field. And I think LSU goes and wins this game. And I think they win in like a pretty commanding fashion. I wouldn't say dominant, but I think we win it going away.
Okay.
So my keys are the strength of the special teams, not making those mistakes, and the efficiency of the offense compared to last year.
Is that your so that's your TA tools for triumph?
I guess you could say that. Sure, yeah. I guess so.
Well, I guess
not making mistakes on special teams and the offense being efficient. We can
kind of transition to that, Reagan, and
yeah, sure.
So for me, as I said, I think a few of my TA tools for triumph. Number one for me is get to the quarterback. Get to Jordan Travis. I think if you're able to get to Jordan Travis, you can have a firm hold on this game. You can take a firm hold on this game.
It also alleviate if you're wreaking havoc on Jordan Travis, that alleviates the DBs.
The DBs, correct.
So
they need to get a successful pass rush. That for me, that is the biggest TA tool for triumph in this game. And the other TA tool for triumph for me on the offensive side of the ball is get creative and get vertical. Get creative and get vertical. I would love to see, at the end of last season, Reagan, in the Purdue game, we saw some wrinkles. We saw Malik Neighbors get a jet sweep that he housed. We saw Malik Neighbors take another jet sweep that he ended up passing to Kyron Lacey. Yeah. We saw some wrinkles in the Purdue game that we had not seen for pretty much the entire season.
Maybe they're having fun, but
maybe they were just having fun. That could be the case, but it was interesting regardless.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to see, is there some new wrinkles that Mike Denbrock throws out there? Obviously, you're going to potentially see a 12-man set, 12-man personnel out on the field with two tight ends. So that's going to be different than last year. Anyways, TA tool for triumph, get to the quarterback, vertical passing on offense.
Another one of my TA's tools for triumph, and Ryan is referring to it there, is spreading the ball around too.
Yeah.
That goes hand in hand with what I was saying with being efficient offensively. If you're spreading the ball around, you're keeping the defense on their toes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, boom, Malik Neighbors. You hit him, and then you hit Mason Taylor, and then you hit Kyron, and then you hand the ball off to Logan Diggs, and then you hand the ball off to Noah Kane, and then you jet sweep Aaron Anderson.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? We're dropping back. Whoop. Quarterback draw. Jane Daniels is really quick, right? And the DBs had their eyes off of Jaden, and he's 20 yards down the field.
Make them
There's a lot you can do.
For every single player.
There's a lot you can do with this offense.
Make them be accountable for Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
Make them be accountable for Aaron Anderson. Make them be accountable for Logan Diggs. Make them be accountable for Trey Bradford out of the backfield in a passing game.
Yeah.
Make them be accountable for Jaden on the run. Like, make them be accountable for every single strength that is on this offense. Make them be accountable. That's a good
Hey, I love that
from
from Ryan too. Pimpin'. Yeah, I think that's good. Zach, that's going to add another phase to this offense. Is bringing another tight end on the field as well.
Yep.
You had
another pass catcher in Kamori and Pimpton, or are you gonna bring out Connor Gilbreth or Matt Markway, and they're gonna set a block that's gonna create an edge?
Hey, Matt Markway can catch the ball too. So people are sleeping on that. Matt Markway can get the ball. Like Matt Markway. Now, I mean, Mason Taylor's going to be on the field, but like if we're in a similar situation, like as we were last year, I think Matt Markway could do what Mason Taylor did last year, but that's not going to happen. As a true freshman, I think Matt Markway could do that, but that's not going to happen just because of obviously Mason Taylor's there and Pimpton's there. But y'all, Matt Markway can catch the ball and do some stuff with it. There's if we are spreading the ball around and we're doing it effectively and efficiently, we're going to have a lot of options to keep the defense on their toes. And I really think LSU is going to score a lot of points all year long, not just in this game. I mean, guys, we averaged, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we averaged like 30-something points a game last year.
I think you could be right, yeah. Something like that, probably.
I think it's 30-plus points we averaged per game last year. So I think it can be really, really good this upcoming season. So, I mean, spreading the ball around with this talent, that's my point, Zach, is Florida State, yes, they have Johnny Wilson. Yeah, they got Keon Coleman. And they got Jaheim Bell, their tight end. But like they don't have what we have overall on our offense. They just don't. I mean, they've got 3 really solid options. And Jordan Travis can run, but he typically doesn't, like Jaden would. He doesn't have the ability that Jaden has. He can run, but it's not normal like
he ain't running Harold Perkins though.
No, right, exactly. And also they've got good running backs, but it ain't what LSU's got either.
Yeah, Trey Benson's good. Yeah.
Trey Benson's good, but it ain't like they don't have a stable back there like LSU's gonna have. I mean, we're gonna keep fresh legs on the field all the time. Yeah. And that's another thing, Zach, is
that's a good point.
Yeah, you've got all those guys. Okay, well, let's roll our second receivers out there. All right, Chris Hilton and Aaron Anderson. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's going to be fresh a lot. All right. Josh Williams took a couple snaps. Now let's get Logan Diggs out there and then Noah Kane. And which, by the way, Zach, I think everybody knows this by now, but John Emery has been pronounced unavailable for this game and next game. He's in good standing, according to Brian Kelly, with the university and the football team. He is just unavailable for the first 2 games. Take with that what you will. I think it's some more of the NCAA being very stupid. But he's unavailable. So you're going to see Logan Diggs, Noah Kane, Josh Williams be the brunt and take the bulk of this game because Armani Goodwin is out, John Emery is out. And so those 3 guys are going to be guys you lean on. Maybe you get to see Trey Bradford, Caleb Jackson, Zach, maybe, but those 3 guys, no doubt, are going to be your main go-to.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, Reagan. I'm really looking forward to it. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and give our prediction here.
We need to do a game in the season, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. So let's go ahead and let's give our prediction. Reagan, I'll go first. I got to be honest, Reagan. I for a long time was thinking Florida State because LSU for the last 3 years that they've played and the opening weekend has lost the game. Lost to State
We've got to
in
win the opening
2020.
game.
You lost to
There you go.
UCLA in 2021, and you lost to Florida State last year in 2022.
Brutal.
So I got to be honest. Part of that has affected my mentality going into this year. It has, because for the last 3 years, I've got my hopes up for the season, and then to be immediately let down the first week. Not that it affected my my take on the whole season, but and I knew it wouldn't, obviously, affect the whole season. But it's just like when you get so hyped up and you get that first week and you lose that first game, it just it sucks. And I don't want that for LSU this year. And so for a long time, I was thinking I'm just gonna, I just think Florida State's gonna win. I'm expecting it just to, expect disappointment, never get disappointed, right? But I guess I'm just going to set myself up again. I've got LSU winning 32-24.
Set yourself up.
I'm just going to set myself up for disappointment already. Let's get it. Hopefully
wow, you're really close. You're really close to what I was going to predict. I've got LSU 35-24.
Yeah, I saw Ryan said 35 points are a must to beat FSU. I'm predicting the final to be 37-33. I don't think you have to have 35. I think LSU can get it done with 32. And I understand it's like, okay, 3-point difference, but if we're sticking to like you have to have 35 or more.
Wow, RP.
That's big.
Bro, if
LSU goes out and does this, I don't know why, Reagan, but for some reason 2011 keeps popping in my mind. So,
oh man, if we do
I would
Oregon,
want the ending would, I wouldn't want the ending of the 2011 season, but for some reason 2011 keeps getting into my mind because, like, as far as I can remember, like this is I think this is the biggest game since that game that me and you have watched, right? You mean
opener?
Opener, yeah. Like LSU played Wisconsin a couple times. That was never as big. LSU played North Carolina one time. That wasn't as big.
Well, North Carolina was 2010.
2010. That wasn't as big. Like I think this is the biggest game since that LSU Oregon game. So that's probably why it's giving me a lot of LSU Oregon vibes. Yeah, I'm going LSU 32. Florida State 24.
Miami was a pretty big one in 2018, and we won.
Miami was a big one, but it wasn't as big as this one. It wasn't as big as this.
It's not as big. No,
it's not top 10.
The implications, the implications for this game is way bigger.
Way bigger.
LSU in 2018. What was so big about 2018 is Miami was like predicted to have a really, really good season, and LSU, like, we didn't really know because there's this new quarterback, Joe Burrow, and we came out and trounced Miami, and everybody was like, "Whoa!" Right? That's why that was big. But this is
two teams that have
top 10.
Have high expectations.
Yeah. I mean, man, RP, if we come out and if we'd put 42 up and beat them by like more than 20 points, we're getting lit next. If that happens, we're getting lit next. Yeah. If we win, we're getting lit. I mean,
either way, we're getting lit.
Yeah, I got 35-24, and that's an 11-point win. That's kind of what I meant. Like, you win it going away.
Good win.
You win. So, do we have a Honey Badger player? Come on! Yes! You got Harold Perkins, bro.
And you got Greg Brooks back there.
Harold Perkins.
Now they're not they're not like Tyrann Mathieu. But
Harold
Perkins could be.
He could be.
But like, not you got Harold Perkins and you got Greg Brooks, who's a ball hawk. So I mean,
hey, I want to see. I would love if they would use Harold Perkins like they use Tyrann on punts and whatnot. Not returning, but like, in 2011 against Oregon, he's the punt returner caught the ball, he stripped the ball, turned around, bounced into his hand, he walked in the end zone. Like,
can we get some deja vu?
Yeah. Right.
On Sunday night. That'd be pretty cool.
Right. All right. Hey, my Zeke Luca is just now waking up. Let's get our season predictions in so we can wrap the show up and I can go grab him.
All right, let's do it. Go ahead, Reagan. Why don't you start? Since I started us off on the score.
Hey, go back in there. No.
What are you doing?
What? Hey, go close the door. Go close the door to the bedroom. This kid that just strolls up in here. Zeke. He's opening like all the doors. What are you doing? Zeke. Go close the door to the bedroom. Close the fridge. What in the world is happening? Close the door. Hey, I see you.
I said 35.
Close the door. Oh my gosh.
Man, that's great.
Sorry, y'all. Anyways, so I'm trying to get my train of thought refocused. Okay, season predictions. Man. Okay, I'm gonna do floor and ceiling. Floor 8-4. Ceiling 12-0. 12-0. I mean that is your legitimate ceiling. I think LSU. Okay, floor 9-3. I'm going to say LSU finishes the regular season 11-1 and goes to the SEC championship. I don't know who my loss would be to, honestly. I feel like somewhere along the way, LSU's going to stub their toe. Maybe it's this opening game, and then they win the rest of their games. Maybe you go stub your toe in Oxford. You know what I mean? Like, so I think I'm going to predict that LSU goes 11-1 this year, and I don't really know who to say who they lose to. Maybe Alabama and Tuscaloosa.
I'm kind of right there with you pretty much. I think the floor is 9-3, so I'm a little bit more positive this year than I was last year.
Yeah.
I think the ceiling is undefeated with the national championship. I do believe this team is capable of that. I do believe that. And I think they finished the regular season 10-2, and they're on the outside looking in of the playoffs. They go and they play a New Year's. They go and play a New Year's 6, and they win, and they go 11-2 on the season.
Good deal. I like it.
It's one game better than last year.
I would be fine with that.
Be a good year.
Yeah, another solid year. But I want
to win the Natty.
I want that championship, man. Give me that year 2 positivity.
Come on, give me that year 2 positivity. I'm trying to be a little bit, hold it off a little bit, but give it to me, man. I want to go to the Natty, baby.
Year 2. All right, Zach. I think we need to hit a quick break. We'll come back right after this, and we'll hit some of your comments and wrap the show up. We'll see you right back after this.
Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right, so Ryan's in here. He said it really is a big game, as 2011 versus Oregon was. RP said, I don't think Florida State DBs can handle our wide receivers, and we're going to run them over in fourth quarter with our running backs who are going to be fresh, and also with JD. And Ryan was saying he meant like somebody that's kind of unexpected. So I guess more like 2010 Honey Badger. On defense, probably Zai Alexander, maybe maybe Deuce. Okay. I don't know.
I'm gonna say Andre Sam.
Andre Sam. Yeah, no, that's actually yeah. I think I'm gonna change my decision. I think that is probably a better bet right there.
Yeah.
Reagan.
Yes.
I don't know if you know this, Reagan. But tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
We're going to be releasing a hype video. Tomorrow morning, Saturday, college football is back, baby. And we're going to release the LSU 2023 football hype video. It's not a LSU Florida State hype video. It is a
Season.
2023 LSU football hype video.
Retweet,
So,
repost, reshare.
yes, please,
tweet it.
please, our listeners,
All that stuff.
our viewers, like it, retweet it, share it, quote tweet it on all the social medias. That would be a huge help to us.
Yes,
I gotta be
yes,
honest.
yes.
I mean, those hype videos, they help us a lot. They really do.
They're our biggest thing. I mean,
They're our biggest thing.
They're our
They're our
biggest thing.
biggest thing, period. So y'all do us a massive favor and support the hype video. I really like this one. I'll say maybe not as good as last year, but still a really good video. And
I'm sure it'll be great.
Last year we had Brian Kelly coming in, and there was a lot of different things that I got to factor into that. And so, it was really cool. But tomorrow morning we will be releasing the hype video. Not sure exactly what time. I will probably figure that out tonight and release a tweet later tonight of an exact time that we will release the hype video. So I'm looking forward to that.
Let's go. Yes, I'm excited for that, Zach. All right, guys. We are just few hours away from LSU football. I mean, like
I'm talking 48.
48 hours.
Yeah, 48 hours.
Like literally 48 hours.
Like literally 48 hours.
Just few hours away. 2 days away from opening kickoff of LSU season. I cannot freaking wait.
It's here, baby. Let's go.
Year 2, Brian Kelly. Year 2, Kim Mulkey, Natty. Year 2, Jay Johnson, Natty. BK, year 2, give me the Natty. Let's go. Give me another year 2 Natty. We should need to fire all the coaches and then bring more coaches in so we can have year 2s over and over.
After their year 2, they're done.
Just recycle it.
Recycle it.
Gosh, I cannot wait. Inject LSU football into my veins. Give it to me.
That purple and gold runs deep.
All right, guys. We got to wrap it up. Luke is about to lose his mind. I can see him on the monitor.
I got to feed pizza to the guys.
So, 2 days away, guys. LSU football is here. Looking forward to it. We'll be back to recap all of it next week. So be looking for that episode. And also be sure to re-like, reshare, repost, whatever the heck you got to do with the hype video. We'll let you know when it's coming out. We'll see you next time here in the Tigers Avenue. 5-star hero, take us out. Peace. You're too natty.
Who that five-star? And the LSU Tigers, LSU Tigers.